based on where we farm, talk about the challenges we have with cover crops. A lot of our challenges have to do with what we can actually use. Generally, we have a shorter growing season than most. Harsh winters. Now we're, with some of these below zero temps, we have no snow cover. And so we've got some ryegrass planted out there that will just, I'm pretty sure it'll survive. It's pretty hard to screw up rye. Haven't been able to do it yet, even though I've tried. But we'll just have to see how it goes in the spring. It's the kind of year that we'll probably do a number on alfalfa stands here and there. So yeah, we deal with a lot of the shorter season issues. And then you get into a year like 2013, we had everything, we don't, percentage-wise, we're not doing a lot of cover crops yet. We are 100% strip till. We're also 100% corn. So we are strip tilling continuous corn. And so a lot of the things we've been working on since about 2008 have to do with how do you establish cover crops in that kind of a system. What we've started to do is actually we'll blend in rye seed with our fertilizer in the fall and strip it right down the row. That's something that looks like it has a lot of promise. But generally, we're on a percentage basis, we're not doing a lot of cover crops. But when you get into a year like 2013, I think every challenge in the book came at us last spring. I think most of the state had snow in May, is that right? We had 8 to 10 inches on May 2. On May 16, it was over 100 degrees. That makes for a really tight window. On top of that, we had rain. We had Memorial Day weekend last year. I think we had almost a foot of rain between 2 days. So real tight window. The acres we had seeded to rye last year, the rye got big. Normally we'll like to get rid of our rye somewhere between 8 to 10 inches tall. And the way we do it is we will actually strip till, say, 40 to 50 units of nitrogen right into the rye in the spring. And then I spray with a planter. I put all the pre on with the planter, and when I'm going through the rye, I'll go ahead and throw some glyphosate in with that pre and then spray the rye as I plant. System that we're always tweaking, but a system that works pretty good. Well, we got to the point where the rye was yay tall. We hadn't been in it yet. Ended up selling it for cow feed. Planted the corn on June 20. Roared in there about October 20 to combine it. It was 32%. Thought, well, boy, if I could get 140 bushels an acre, I'll be tickled. 50 acres, we filled a 12,000 bushel bin. Granted, it was wet, but it shouldn't work that way either. So that spring was a challenge. We found, when you talk about termination, the first couple years we did rye, we moldboard plowed it just because, thinking back 20, 30 years ago, that's what you did. Even though we were strip tilling, we thought, well, we got 50 acres here, let's go have fun with the plow. And it was fun, a little old school. We actually found out after doing some tests, our strip-tilled corn into a living rye crop is normally or has been 8 to 10 bushels per acre better than either the moldboard plow or the chisel plow. And when I say 8 to 10 bushels an acre better, the couple years we did it, we had, and this is off the top of my head, but we had 225 bushel an acre in the chiseled and plowed, and we had 235 to 240 in the strip-till. This is strip-tilled into rye that was planted on top of a hog manure application. That's a program that we found to be absolutely dynamite. A late summer hog manure plus rye. Steve, you probably know that too. That just does wonders for soil health. And just to quick jump back to some of the problems you can have in a wet spring, when you do have those problems and you do get behind, it seems like those problems will magnify themselves in the crop. Last year we got bailed out thanks to a pretty forgiving summer, but that's not going to happen every year either. A couple of the things we're looking at here, I guess, down the road, and that's something I'm going to talk about tomorrow, is the potential of cover crops for livestock feed. Therein is some challenges regarding, if you want to harvest those covers in the spring, again, tight window spring, you got harvest challenges there. You're going to try to bale it. You're going to try to chop it. Things we're going to be working on there. And then the other thing we're looking at pretty hard, like I said, for us where we're at, short growing season. We do a pretty good job. We got pretty good sized dryer, so we'll get after the corn. Mid-September, normally we can be rolling, so we can do a good job of getting rye in on time. Excuse me. But one of the things we want to be looking at is what can we do to establish that in crop. One thing we're looking at, Tracy, you talked about tillage radishes. I like that. I'd like to be able to do it right down the middle of the corn row, and that'd be my strip till. So based on your nutrient slides, that would make sense. The other thing is maybe broadcasting some rye, say mid, late June, and then coming back and baling it for cow feed in the fall. We've done a little bit with aerial seeding. We picked the 2 worst years possible for aerial seeding in 11 and 12. Most of you probably know how dry it was, so that really didn't work that well. But my thought is that's maybe a little too late yet. I'd like to have a cover crop that gets to be about 6 to 8 inches tall, either right at or shortly after corn harvest. So yeah, that's you know, you talk about broadcast seeder, you talk about maybe an old cultivator modified with seed boxes. That's some of the stuff we're looking at for the in-crop thing. Other than that, I think that's about the extent of my PowerPoint.